wind of investment is blowing rapidly across the African continent, leaving in its wake a growing number of prospering economies. But achieving consistent long-term growth across the continent requires strong partnerships between foreign and local investor and credible local suppliers, most of which are SMEs. SMEs contribute about 70% of Ghana's gross domestic product (GDP) and more than 60% of jobs in the country. Their importance cannot be overemphasized, and yet the irony is they grapple with a myriad of challenges which impact on their overall competitiveness and long-term viability as businesses. The Wind Beneath the Sails of Ghanaian SMEs Invest in Africa was established some 4 years ago to help big businesses pool resources together to help address common challenges of doing business and at the same time improve the competitiveness of local SMEs by building their long-term capacity and developing skills needed in the local economy for sustained growth and job creation. Let's hear from the architect of the Invest in Africa initiative, Aidan Heavy, CEO and chairman of TALO.
Invest in Africa was an idea that came up talking with a lot of governments. You know, it was very obvious to everybody in that there was a misconceptions about Africa, that there was a misconceptions about the investment opportunities. Invest in Africa was an initiative that was set up to try and change those misconceptions, to try and help both the governments in attracting investment and to help the outside world in looking and investing in Africa. We talk to companies all the time in all the countries that we're involved in, and they have a lot of issues in relation to supplying of services, in attracting finance, in getting the banking industry to understand the attractiveness of the countries, in trying to set up relationships with local companies. It's in all our interest to make sure that as many investors as possible are getting involved in all the countries that we're involved in. So this is a way of helping them, and I think it's a cooperative. You know, it gets everybody together.
There is a saying that great things start with humble beginnings. The Invest in Africa story is no different. Let's hear from our first country manager, Mr. Sam Brandful, who helped lay the foundation for IIA in Ghana.
As a start, I had to just figure out what to do. The first few months, I basically was working from home and from my car and using the new technologies of mobile phone and laptop and internet to correspond with the UK head office. This went on for a couple of months, and then it became clear there was the need to have a base, but I started looking around and eventually through networks again, I got to look into the offices of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, and for that I would say a big thank you to Kweku Sechiado, who broached the topic, or I broached the topic, and he said perhaps we can find space for you, and eventually that's where we settled. From that point on, it was clear that the first things we needed to do was to start the launch of the African Partner Pool. So together with Will and the others, Michael Amening and the others in head office, we identified or the category of people we needed to recruit. So there was a need for a marketing person, there was a need for the APP manager, the African Partner Pool manager, and these were the initial targets. I must also mention the fact that we had tremendous support from EY in the form of two ladies, Emma and Michaela, who sat with me in the office that one had just acquired to start building up the requirements of IIA Ghana as an office, how we're going to operate, things like manuals, things to do with financial administration. These were all done with a lot of support from Emma and Michaela, again, thanks to you for that support.
In October 2014, we launched an online marketplace that connects buyers and suppliers called the African Partner Pool, the APP. In August 2015, the African Development Bank's Fund for African Private Sector Assistance, FAPA, awarded Invest in Africa a $1 million grant, their first in Ghana, to deliver the Business Linkage Program, the BLP, a 3-year training and mentorship program to assist SMEs fast-track their business transformation from locally good to globally competitive. Other skills and mentorship programs later followed. The Business Accelerator Program, funded by the Dutch Development Agency, FMO, followed in January 2016, and the Canon Printing Excellence Program in February 2016. To date, we have registered over 1,500 local businesses, extended $150 million worth of contracts through the APP, out of which $116 million has been retained in the local economy, supported 32,000 jobs, facilitated approximately $1 million worth of credit to SMEs through our partner banks, trained and mentored over 230 SMEs through the BLP, the BAP, Canon program, and other training modules. All these could not have been achieved without the support of our 10 partners, to whom we would like to say Aiko. With a solid foundation in place, a strong business model, more partner hands on deck, and a strong Pan-African network, we are confident about facing the future, one of creating more growth opportunities, shared wealth, and prosperity in the local economy.